Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now, before we begin, let me give a brief little review. In the last part, a number of events have happened. Now, Deku and his party, they were able to take over the fortress and do a lot with the forces they had. Now, they've held the fort for a few days. They've cleaned things up, and after the battle, many people were still licking their wounds. Izuku especially after he did take a decent stab that did break through his chest piece armor. Now, in the last part, Deku, he was doing quite a bit. He was continuing his training and trying to improve more upon the moves he learned from Erados during their stealth mission. And speaking of this concealment tactic that he learned from Erados, she showed concern about Deku's well-being. She talked about ways they can use to heal his wounds. And whenever she was actually able to run her hand over Deku's bandages, Pyra was a little, let's just say, apprehensive and jealous. She didn't like that Erados was acting the way she was. Deku saw it as concern for a fellow warrior, someone you do respect. However, Pyra saw it as something different, especially considering she knows how the Oni do act and how their customs are. Meanwhile, Deku was a little oblivious to that. Now, Izuku promised her a date when he had to go catch up and find her, and he was still dealing with a lot of things. She apologized, remembering that Deku isn't exactly from this world, and he's never exactly met Oni, so he doesn't know their customs and traditions. Now, after that was done, Izuku, he still had a lot going through his mind. They went out hunting, and then they still were trying to hold out for reinforcements. Now, with that being said, we do currently cut to the courtyard. It's been 2 more days, and it's been nearly a week. They're still holding out for reinforcements. There's been no activity. They've sent Indra ahead, and she's reported nothing in. And that does mean a lot. They've got nothing. They've seen nothing. They've not heard anything. Whatever this army is, wherever it's coming from, they clearly can't find it. And that does have them worried. King Drutha in York, after he heard the reports about this army and how they had bone claws, he decided to send in a few more people, especially considering the fact that the forest that is there, if they're ambushed by something more powerful than a bone claw, he does have concerns they will be overrun. And we do have the courtyard, where Deku, he does sit there, going to keep his eyes closed and his eyes blindfolded, focusing on the magic around him he can sense, the world around him that he can sense. He's already upgraded himself a bit more. After the battle, he decided to distribute those points. And right now he's thinking about how much higher he can go. He's increased search magic a bit. This concealment ability is rather useful as well. It's not exactly magical, but that does bring up more abilities in his mind. Him stepping to the right and dodging a spear throw that would have been directly at his head, as he's going to turn and go to bring his hand up. Right now, him going to batter away a sword slash. Him going to turn and go to evade a strike from a club. And this, it does help him focus a bit more, understanding and sensing the world around him. And these thoughts do go through his mind. There's a lot that he can do with these skills. I mean, he's increased his strength and he becomes more physically powerful. He increases his poison resistance. He gets more power, if not immunity, to that ability. There's so much more. increases his strength, his dexterity, his reflexes, more becomes available to him. And then there's even the idea of increasing his mind. I mean, he's done so already with a few lessons, but what type of power can he get from increasing that? More mental fortitude? I mean, it could be a way for him to increase his spirit ability. I mean, that and his curse are the only abilities he can't level up. At least not by spending points. Izuku ducking before he does go to do a flip and go to land on the spear. As Pyra does a look up, asking him if he's just going to show off at this point, Deku brings his hand up before he does go to bring up the blindfold, telling her he's sorry about that. He just got a little caught up in thought. I see that. Him going to float down. And Pyra does watch Deku turn his back to her. Before she should turn, bring up the spear and throw it out forwards. Deku stepping backwards and to the side, grabbing the spear and pulling it towards him. Before he has to pull Pyra into his arm and tell her if that's checkmate. Maybe. Deku's smiling. Before he does go to give her a kiss, I'm going to pull back, telling her, right. Does she have to go out hunting today? No, I'm fine. Mainly, though, I'm pretty sure I'm supposed to be cooking. We're trying to rotate. I know this really good elven dish. It's a good stew if we can find some meat. Though it can't be too gamey. That's really the concern. You? I'm on guard duty tonight. So I probably should get some sleep before then. Right. Her going to pat him on the chest, telling him, make sure to keep them safe. And she'll save some food for him. Him nodding his head and going to leave. Going to lay down in the tent to catch up on some sleep. He's still got a lot to process. And later that night, Deku, he does sit there. He has some food. He's looking off into the forest. Looking off into the only path the enemy forces can come towards them. They can try and climb the mountain, but that would be a bad idea. A well-placed arrow or even some well-placed magic. And he doesn't think that would be a good idea. It's not an impossibility. And right now they are going to walk along the walls and occasionally glancing over, checking to see that there's nothing trying to climb the wall, nor trying to get up from the approaching darkness. And Izuku, he does turn his head, looking back out into the forest with his night vision spell. There are many magics in the world he still needs to learn. They're so interesting. The light he's looking at, the light of the two moons, they're bright. They're almost as bright as a flashlight in his face, but they're not. They're still there, but everything else, it's almost like you can see during the day. Like he's just outside with a bright pair of shades on. Or, I guess, a dark pair? This spell is just so interesting. And it does mean a lid. What was that? Deku thoughts being cut off. Right now him turning his head as he does go to grab the hilt of his sword. Before Juba does it talk about it. Easy now, easy now. Can't sneak up on him, can he? And here he thought that would be a little easy. You really shouldn't do that. Sneak up on a hero? I can tell. You're a little on edge. Of course I am. There's a lot happening. And I'd rather take it all seriously, if it's all the same to you. I can understand that. Trust me, I can. However, that does make me curious about a few things for you, hero. So, I heard Erodos was, what, concerned about you? Yeah, that was the other day. My wounds are more healed. My stamina is doing good. But, is there anything I can help you with? Well, Erodos was interested in you. What did you think of her? She was a good warrior, and I don't exactly see her that way. Not surprised. She's a bit more of a runt. She's a good warrior. And is that all you have to say about her? Is that all? You guys don't make any sense to me. You guys, you and the other Oni. You value strength, but you want to put someone down for trying to prove it? I don't get it. Explain it to me. uh, Her family legacy is complex. And let's keep it at that. She's the descendant of a powerful warrior. One that definitely has made the benchmark more interesting. It is tradition to try and honor our ancestors. However, if you cannot surpass them, then it is seen as dishonorable. You must enter a challenge and reclaim your name. However, if you cannot prove that, then you do not get your name. You're unwilling. You must find a new one. And you may never get to return home. Unless you can do something to prove yourself. That's horrible. Yes, her name isn't Erodos. She lost it. And she has become quite interesting because of it. She is strong, but I doubt her ancestors would be honored by her. I think you're horrible. Deku's standing, bringing his hand up and walking over. That doesn't make sense. Their ways are different, but he doesn't like that. She proved herself, didn't she? You don't know who her grandfather is, do you? No, I haven't. Do you know anything of the legends of this world, young hero? I believe some of your people are among those legends. Humans, dragon slayers, people who have slain ancient beasts. You and the elf. Has she ever told you about the ancient one? The ancient one? Yes. His name is Qatar. He is said to be a powerful warrior from long ago. Old. And, well, I believe he's the grandson of someone who saw the fall of the old ones. The old ones. You're talking about those who enslaved the races. Yes. Qatar. He was a powerful warrior. Some believe he's dead. Some aren't too sure. If he's still alive today, he would have aged. You wouldn't see a youthful elf. You'd see an old man who's probably withered away. Though, I'm sure he's found a way to use his magic to conceal his appearance, if not maintain his youth. He would be quite powerful. Really? Yes, he would be. In fact, I think you should probably go see what the elves truly are like before you judge my race about what we do in our ways. I do not judge you for your traditions. I apologize. But you value her and you work with her. Do you not see the conundrum there? You insult her and put her down. I see it. However, I did not say I did not like it. It is our way. We cannot change it. Traditions have been honored for centuries. They have changed little by little. However, we cannot change that fast. She's part of your family, isn't she? I'm going to slowly nod. And the look that is going to follow does contradict the way he was acting. He's clearly happy she's still alive, happy she's stronger, but not happy that she's not herself anymore. She took on a new name, and she hasn't gotten it back. This relative of hers must be powerful if she can't perform a feat like that. Does it have to be on par? Yes, yes, it does. Now you understand. Deku nodding his head, thinking about that. Okay, but that does raise more questions. How about we talk about Zondur the Oathbreaker? He is a human, though he's half orc. Really? Yes. He's quite the powerful man. And I believe he's old, but still alive. A living legend. How about that? What did he do? Many things. The man telling Deku a bit of a story, and Deku does find himself enraptured about it. A man who has slayed giants, who fought off and took out multiple people. He was more of a warlord, and he fought and helped secure York. I mean, that's incredible. He was said to be on par with King Drutha, but instead of becoming the warlord, he went out and continued to battle. He took out an entire city on his own. And that sounds incredible, but it also sounds quite costly. And Deku, he does nod along, finding himself leaning forwards for him to finally turn his head, realizing he wasn't looking out, as right now he does feel something strange. Him jumping up and looking out to the forest, as the man does turn his head as well, asking if the hero does sense something off. You don't sense that? No, I don't. What is it? I don't know. It just doesn't feel natural. It doesn't feel right. Deku going to bring his hands up and get ready. Before he does, gonna fly up into the air and go to stand. Completely ready. And when the man does a turn running over, yelling out about how something's off, people, they do just stop their festivities. The alcohol's put down. Swords are brought up. And the fire, it does gonna die out. Currently, many of them going to turn to the mages. Some beginning to cast spells that do help them see in the dark. As others, they do get their weapons ready. And Deku, he does a stand there as well, watching as lights begin to come out from the forest and towards the fortress, out into the open and up the shallow incline. Right now, them going to see the carriages. And when someone does bring their hand up and start casting a white light, people, they do see this. Right now, someone walking up and seeing this signal. Hawk turning and expressing about how that is a relief. Is this the reinforcements? They're here. It's incredible. With this, we should be able to hold out for longer. They've brought food, medicine, and plenty more for us. More forces? Yes. Deku's seeing it. A massive line of wagons. And people, they do begin to park them out front. Deku going to jump down from his post. And whenever he does come flying down, he does look around, trying to find out who exactly is giving off that strange, magical presence. He can feel that. Where is it? Where is it? Where someone's stepping out, looking directly at Deku, and he does go to see a blind man. His eyes are bandaged. He's got horns poking out of his head. And he's carrying a staff. I mean, he looks dressed like almost like a warrior, but the staff has strange gold rings, and the top of it is a strange circle like. Huh. Who might you be? I am Mizuku. Are you the one I'm sensing? You must be the one I'm sensing. The man stepping forwards, bringing up his hand, expressing, it is quite interesting to meet another shaman. Though, Izuku, that is not a traditional human name. Not here it is. Not, no. And you are? Deku bring his hand up. The two shaking hands as Deku doesn't hear the man talk about how he's Tamati. Tamata? It's a long story. He's a shaman. And he believes that what he's sensing is great spiritual power. Spiritual? Okay, that makes more sense. That's why I can sense you. You're quite odd. I did not know that one of the heroes was a shaman. I'm not. That might be my power from Ritus. I see. Quite fascinating. Someone's stepping up, asking if they're done talking to this kid. Now hold on there. This boy is one of the four heroes. His ability is shamanistic. Ritus granted it to him. What? You can't be serious. Him? Haran, I think you might want to consider what you are saying. Hawk gonna step out. And the man, when he does see these two staying there with Deku, he does gonna step forwards, falling to one knee and thanking the two for coming along, since what they're doing here is good. Though the situation must be quite dire if they've been sent out, and people around them do move past. Deku still trying to understand what's happening, and the man does try to explain. He deals with spirits, and what he's sensing is magical power connected to that ability. He's spent his life honing it and utilizing it to become a great warrior. Not only that, he calls upon his ancestors in combat for their aid, their help, and the weapons they've once held. And it's not just that, but he does have a totem to help him with this endeavor. And this does make Deku somewhat not along, trying to understand as the two are unpacking a few things. I'm even quite curious about Deku's own ability, since he doesn't seem to be like a normal shaman. In Izuku, he does try to explain it. The ability Ritus gave him is his own power. He doesn't command spirits or, well, anything like that. He does have a spirit to control, but he believes it's a manifestation of his own willpower. That's hard to explain. And the man does somewhat nod his head, understanding a little bit more. Quite intrigued to see it. And after an hour does go by of them unpacking more things and someone going to take over the watch for Izuku, they do go to sit down. Both the two sitting there to meditate. And Kirishima, he does it to watch on. Right now, him quite intrigued. However, Mogak does come walking up. Her trying to pull him into an arm, talking about how they need to grab a drink, maybe catch up on a few things and talk. And he does a turn, seeing a few people who do go to bring up their hands. And Kirishima does a little walk over with them. And there is actually Deku, who does somewhat sit here, sucking in a breath, and they're going to activate his ability. The strange white aura does begin to form around him. However, it does begin to pour from his eyes. The man is to watch on. Him looking at the outline of the magical energy, how it does roar around him, almost like a white flame, before it does going to manifest around him He does go to watch that. Before he does go to bring his own hands up. Him going to begin a chant as Deku does go stare at the man, watching this strange glow does go to form around him. Before the blue glow of armor does manifest. And Deku does stare at the man, who does proceed to look up at the spirit. And these two, they do stare at each other's power. Quite similar. However, quite interesting. The man expressing about how this is the armor of his ancestor. Though, his magical power does seem more malleable. Malleable? Yes. This doesn't seem to be magic. Not at all. It's coming from you. Have you experimented with this at all? I've used it in combat. It's helped me keep fighting. And I know I apparently kept fighting after I passed out. Thanks to it, it kept you up. Yeah, they said it came alive from my aura. I see. It is you. Well then, I do have to ask then. Have you not decided to try doing what I am doing? Using it like armor? No, it usually helps me fight. Yes, that is true. However, there is a lot more that could be done with this. Your aura. Can you recall it? Deku turning, looking at the strange creature as he does try to think if he's ever called it back to him. Usually it just disperses whenever he does. The creature going to follow Deku's mental command, flying back towards him and beginning to shape around him. And Deku, he is once again covered in the strange light. Him pouring more of it, as he does go to listen to what the man is going to say. Act as if he is casting mage armor. Follow and let it flow around him. Let it go to conceal and protect him. Follow his mind. Allow it and him to be one. It is like a flowing river. It is like rage. Do not let it overtake him, but do not let it fly away from him. Hold it and see how it does bend to him. And Izuku does sit there, covered in a strange glow, holding up his left hand and seeing this. It's incredible. His aura, his abilities. He can feel the boost from it, but he also does feel a little different. It's incredible. And Deku does a second of breath before he does go to stand up as he does bring his own hands up, trying to experiment. And there is where the armor around him does go to break free. It, covering his hands as Deku, does stand there. Right now, him holding a glowing weapon in the air. And he does just stare at that. Before he does get a second of breath and go to let the aura disperse. It's surprising him. And many people who do to watch on do get to see this. Deku quite intrigued. Quite aware. He knows a bit more about this power now. Damn it. He's got so much he needs to focus on. He's still gonna master ice magic fully, but this, it's incredible. He needs to know more. Make this ability stronger? What else can he do with it? His mind is racing. And that, it does make the man go to stand. Before he's to grab his staff, and the rings, they do so in jingle. Him tapping it down to Deku's head, telling the boy, perhaps it is a good idea for him to get some more rest. They can follow up on this a bit more in the morning. He does feel much from him. His potential is great. Thank you. I do appreciate the help. Perhaps next I will teach you how to use more shadow. That. Perhaps next I will teach you how to use more shamanistic abilities. I believe a mount would be quite useful to you. If your ability is as strange as I do think it is, magic is quite malleable. And do be aware, it can do many things. Things deemed impossible by others. The Fae are quite evident of that. Thank you. Truly, I am thankful. Him bowing his head. Before he does a walk away, and he does go to find Pyra. Her sitting around another campfire, talking with a few more people, as Deku does see an elf among them. Him walking over to her and going to sit down, asking exactly if he's missing anything. How'd your lesson go? It went fine. I learned a lot about that. Maybe I need to experiment a bit more. I mean, I don't know how useful that would be, but it definitely seemed interesting. For right now, though, maybe tomorrow I'll learn more about it. It doesn't seem easy, though. I had to use a lot of focus. Right. Her leaning into his chest, talking about it. Maybe tomorrow he'll get better at it. Her going to hold up her ale and ask him if he's thirsty. Deku turning and seeing her. Her with her face a little red from the alcohol. And Deku, he does go to take her cup and go to sip from it. Others being to roar out as Deku, he does go to hear a few tales. Before someone did to bring up an instrument, beginning to somewhat sing along and strum to the music, dancing around and going to sing. And some people do go to join in, slurring words and having fun. As right now, someone's on watch, and they're on the lookout for anything that could be a danger to them. And with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed. Have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.